Hey, good afternoon. I'm ready to pull the plug on this thing for today. I got to a place I wanted to be, and that's two full sections down. And so that means that there are 800 pieces that are now on the mold, two sections. So that's what two sections on the mold looks like right there, back around to there. And I'm getting some pretty good fits working up in here. I'm leaving this one out until I get this thing off the form to put it in. And I'm happy with the way it's working so far. It's kind of moving along at a little bit of a better clip. I think I spent the first 2 or 3 days over on this side here trying to figure out, exactly how I wanted to go at this and what would be the best method to get this thing done with the highest level of craftsmanship. And so I got that more or less kind of figured out, and then got kind of used to the way things were going, added the branches, and I had a 1 day of heartburn over how the glass fits in there. I got that figured out, and so that is actually moving pretty quick. And now I'll take this section and I'll put that upper glass work in first around all these branches, because I think it's the most difficult, and your reward for getting that done is you're out of the branches and into the field itself. And the field is really easy compared to the branches. The branches take, to put the glass up in the branches, 3-4 times longer than it does down here. I don't really care about the time. It's just more tedious work because you're kind of moving the branches around a little bit here and there, trying to split the difference. At some point, hide as much of the glass as you can under the branch, but push it out where you get good solder lines and all that stuff. So it's just kind of moving it around and making the best effort to get it to where you want it. You want to keep that feel the same because all this stuff here has to fit. So, and it is. And I shot a picture earlier and posted it about a lot of this glass that didn't have the foil on it yet. And how I've mentioned this before, but I get a lot of questions about this, and I'm assuming that this is somewhat complicated, but I'm not being facetious in saying that. I'm sure it really is, but if you get into it and look at it from the point of view that I look at it, it's more or less the same thing. You're trying to get each piece of glass to fit the spot that you have it in, and its relationship with the other pieces around it's very important. So as I come down here, I'm looking to try to keep that solder line. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. It's not going to, but somewhat uniform. And you want to fill the bulk of this field up or space up with glass that has the ability for light to come through it, because like I mentioned in a video or two ago, it's like pixels on a camera. The more of those dots there are, the prettier it's going to be. And there's certainly plenty of line work here. So there's no shortage of that, no problem. And anyway, and then as I think I was up in here earlier, and I got down into here, and I put a bunch of glass on here, and then came back, and you come up and you start fitting them, and there's all kinds of movement that could go on here right now. This is not the final soldering spot for most of this. It is in some cases, but like here's a little piece right here. Let's get this tool here. I've done this many times, but I think I'm fascinated by it. I think people are too. Here we go. So I'd like to get up and fill that cavity there just a little bit. So we'd move that up, down, up, and get that up in there a little bit. And it might be possible that we need to move that piece there down. Okay, that worked out. So anyway, what I was doing, and now that's fitting a little closer than I want, so you just kind of come and move things around till you get them the way you want them. If I was going to solder this, which we're a ways away from that yet, but I'd pick an area that I was going to solder in, and 10, 15, 20 pieces, you work till you get that area the way you want it to look, and then when you put the solder on it, you lock it down. So that's exactly how that's going to work. Anyway, and these pieces here I have not foiled, because although that looks pretty good in that spot, and so does that, and this really looks good, so does that, but I don't know what they look like in relationship to the pieces that are next to them. So that's why those have not been foiled, because I may need, like right there. That's a little bit tight right there. So we may want to grind that off. Well, if I push this piece out, maybe it doesn't need to be ground, and that's going to be determined by what it looks like in respect to this piece. So there's a little method to the madness here. I'm excited about it because I think I mentioned this. I mentioned it to somebody that I texted. But 800 pieces down, 1,200 to go. So somebody said something to me in an earlier post on Facebook, nearly done or something like that. And I said, no, we're not nearly done. However, I'm moving at a better pace because I'm, not having to figure this out. What is the best way to get across here with, the best looking work. So I'm comfortable with that. Oh, in my new chair, look at this thing. I like things that are, high quality, heavy duty stuff. Man, look at this thing. I've been around a lot of machines in my life. And if you spend any time on a nuclear submarine, you know what good looking equipment looks like. And this thing is the bomb. I mean, this chair is really something. And you lift this little paddle here, and you can just pull it right up. It goes, the height changes. I'm not trying to sell these things, but wow, when something's good, it's good, and it's just real comfortable. Boy, it's made a whole difference because I was sitting on a stool with just a pad on the top of it, and I've been at this all day today since 8:30 this morning. What is that? I don't know. It's 8 hours. I've been good because this is such a good chair. So it's like anything else. You spend the money and you get the good stuff. There's no such thing as cheap quality. Anyway, I wanted to let you know where I am. And tomorrow I'll get into section 3. Here's section 4. Section 5 around there. I'll go to section 3. Like I said, start this upper part and come on down. So I probably won't be back with any more video stuff for a couple of days till we move along. It's more or less the same thing. You just keep moving around. So there's where we're headed tomorrow. I don't know. I'm assuming that looks, well, I guess it could be intimidating for sure. And I'm not saying I have all the answers but it's just the same thing more or less over and over. You're just trying to get the best fit possible. Boy, this thing, with that base that I have, which is over on my work table, with that base and and I'll patina all this up here. You won't see this silver looking stuff. But this thing is really going to be a looker. Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate all the interest in this thing and questions. I get a lot of questions on Messenger. I've said this before, the best place to ask questions, unless it's something about pricing or something like that, the best place is just on Facebook, because the question that you're asking may be a question that other people have as well. And so I can answer it. Like people went off into this wax that is on this thing that holds these pieces on. Let me get a piece here. This is just a piece of scrap here. But it just sticks on there. And if it stays on there for a little while, you can, and I just get this dental instrument and just pry it. I didn't mean to throw it on the floor. But anyway, you just get it and pry it back off. So that's what's holding these on here. And no soldering, and well, some people do it different. I used to go ahead and tack this when it was at this state. But I'm reluctant to tack anything down yet because I don't think I'm going to have to, I don't know why I'd have to move any of this. But I'd just soon solder this thing one time. So when I get this thing mounted on its stand and get it in a position where I'm going to be doing all the soldering in a horizontal spot, then let's just do it once rather than a couple of times. So anyway, I'm going to back out of there. Boy, look at that. And that didn't have any light or anything behind it. That thing's starting to really look nice. Wow. I love it. Oh, all right. I'm into it big time. I'm loving every minute of it. I can't now I'm telling you, I've said this before, you're in the right job when, I'm going to go cook some dinner here in a minute, but when you go to bed at night and you can't wait to get up, sometimes I have trouble sleeping because all I want to do is get back on this thing. And it's not to get it done in a hurry. It's because this is so enjoyable to be able to take a skill that you've worked a long time to learn and then to be able to exercise that. And then the end result is something that's this beautiful, I've got something to show for all this effort. Well, Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Be sure and ask the questions or any questions that you have. I'm always around. Thank you.